Adam Kaplan is our NFL insider, almost 3 decades covering the NFL. You can follow him on X for free at Kaplan NFL. He's on Coast to Coast regularly, just the way it ought to be. And that's all year long because the NFL is open for business 365, baby. All right, Adam, today the Titans signed Jamal Adams. I have to tell you, I'm not buying that, and I'll believe it when I see it. And I'll even say this. I wouldn't be surprised he doesn't even make the team.
Yeah, in fact, he's made a ton of money. So let's pick it up what you just talked about and why he's not the player he once was. With the Jets, he was their tone setter. He's a box safety. He's not good in coverage, but when he's at his best, he's physical. He sets the tone. He's an intimidator. You could blitz him. He's a great blitzer. He's had a bunch of sacks in his career. He also, by the way, as I understand, has played linebacker before, more of an inside backer in a 34 front. And by the way, that's what the Titans run. Now, the Titans were looking for depth and competition of strong safety, which he could play. That's what he's played his entire career. Again, he could play a little bit of linebacker. And also, when they go what's called big nickel, their 3 safety alignment, he could be there in that position. They're not very good at safety. That's a position they needed. Scott, you and I have talked about the Titans. They spent a ton of money in free agency. That's not what this move is about. This is not a money issue here. This is a veteran who's 28 years old, but the problem that you have is he has not played well since the 2020 season. It did not work out. That trade that the Seahawks made with the Titans didn't work out. Adams suffered a torn quadriceps. It was a bad injury. He's never been the same. He was on IR 21, 22, and 23. But again, it's a veteran team that's gotten younger. They're mixing some veterans in this offseason. And look, Scott, they had a bad roster last season. Let's call it like it is. That's why they had the biggest free agent spending spree in the history of the franchise. They're looking to compete in that division that's been highly competitive. Surprisingly, the AFC South.
Yeah, I don't buy that he could stay healthy for 5 minutes. I mean, his body has broken down like nobody's business. That's all there is to it. He hasn't literally played in 4 years. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing. That's like that signing is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Now, I will keel over if that guy ends up being healthy and having a big season. I don't deny that he was great once, but it has been so long since he's played football. It's not even funny. All right, let's talk about the NFC West. We've been doing pre-training camp breakdowns of all the divisions. Let's start with the Niners.
Yeah, and talking to people around the league, everybody sees this team as the NFL's best. It's incredible, but right now it looks like the Niners are going to bring back all 11 starters on offense. Now, that includes Brandon Ayuk, who wants his new deal. We'll see over the next 2 weeks where they can get that extension. The Niners have made it clear they want him there. They've tried to get an extension done. They're not close. Let's see what happens as they get closer to training camp. But this is a big year, by the way, for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy could get his contract extended as soon as after this season is completed, where he'll have played 3 seasons. He's clearly their guy. What a great story of development. Really, when you look at it, it's defensively in the secondary. They're not great at corner opposite Charvarius Ward. Great front. They play that wide 9 where the ends play out there and they get upfield. Nick Bosa is phenomenal. Best linebacker group in the National Football League. This is the NFL's best roster. By the way, their win total of 10.5 wins. If you want them, it's going to cost you. Over 10.5 is minus 185. The under is plus 145. And win that division, they're minus 200. And they are the clear favorite of all 8 divisions. They're the one where I look at it and go, you know what? They're pretty much a lot to win that division at minus 200.
Famous last words. And then they're what? Favored to win the Super Bowl too? Or is it the Chiefs still?
Yeah, the Chiefs are by a little bit. But, of course, the last time I said that was the Jaguars that bit me and you know what in the second half of last season. But, you know, the Rams, by the way, let's look at the Rams here. They lose Aaron Donald. Their win total will reflect that. 8.5. The over is minus 155. The under is plus 130. To win the division, plus 325. The strength of their offense, and this is interesting, their interior of their offensive line has been completely revamped. It looks really, really good. Protection is going to be fine. That's not the issue. The issue is on defense. They lose Aaron Donald to his retirement. The secondary, not great. I worry about that. You worry about the pass rush. Kobe Turner as that other defensive tackle who's terrific, who had a breakout season as a rookie. They added Braden Fisk early in the draft here as a defensive tackle. And also, I like Jared Verse, who's a pretty strong pass rusher. But again, They lose Donald. They're not winning that division. And I would agree with that 8.5 wins here. I think they're an 8 to 9 win team there, and they probably will not make the playoffs.
I've actually heard some people suggest that Stafford could win the MVP.
Well, they're loaded. When you look at their offense, all their receivers are back. That's not the problem. The problem isn't on defense. I just don't think they're going to be good enough. And Stafford, by the way, he wants a contract adjustment. They're not there yet, but again, they can get that done closer to training camp. And then you got Seattle, the Pete Carroll era. Remember now, he was the head coach starting in 2010 with John Schneider as the GM. Schneider now has personnel control, and now they brought in really not only a brand new staff, new offensive, defensive schemes. Ryan Grubb is their offensive coordinator. He came from the University of Washington, so they knew him. He's going to have more spread concepts. They're going to change their philosophy. This will not be a run-first offense. They're going to spread things out there. They're going to have they're going to be more thought processed here. It's not going to be run the ball. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive. The problem is on defense, Scott, and it's the reason why they're not going to be a playoff team to me. Not great at inside backer, but the big thing is they don't have a good enough pass rush. And their win total of 7.5, I actually like the under, which is plus 155. The over is minus 140.
So McDonald was such a great coach in Baltimore with D. Do you think he can coach them up defensively? You said that that's their weak point.
Yeah, I just don't think the talent level is going to be good enough. Now, he's a terrific young coach, 36 years old. He did a phenomenal job. He's going to bring his defense in there. Now, it's going to take time. You can't solve every issue. As John Lynch told me years ago, he actually has it in his office laminated. You can't solve every issue in one off season, so it's going to take time. Offensively, it's not going to be the problem. It's defense. And now I know with his scheme, McDonald's scheme, it'll help. I don't see them being a playoff team this season at all.
All right, Arizona.
Boy, you and I talked about this. 10 draft picks. Everybody loves their draft. Look, they weren't a very good team last season. Kyler Murray came back late, actually looked good, had that great win in Philly. This is going to be a run-based offense. They're running the Kevin Stefanski offense under Drew Petzing, who was Stefanski's right-hand man with the Browns. They also worked together in Cleveland, and Petzing did a good job with their offense last season. Start with James Conner in the run game. Watch Trey Benson, the rookie out of Florida State. He'll be his backup. He'll be a future starter there. Now, the problem, Scott, is on defense. Lack of a pass rush. Not very good in the secondary. They're a long ways away from being a playoff team, but they're one of these teams, if you don't take them seriously, you're going to be in for it. As I mentioned, in Philly, the Cardinals beat the Eagles. That was a really bad loss for the Eagles when they were in midst of that, losing 6 out of 7 games. But they'll be competitive under Jonathan Gannon. They fight hard, and by the way, their win total is 6.5. The over is minus 160. That tells you people think it's going to go over. The under's plus 135. And win that division, they're plus 1,200.
Well, what would happen if Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. start hooking up every single week and they stun everyone and go over that win total and turn into something? Their defense might suck, but who cares if you're scoring all kinds of touchdowns?
And they're going to have to watch Trey McBride, the tight end, and the aforementioned Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to be probably my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year, who's phenomenal. They're not very deep, by the way, at wide receiver. They're more of a 12 personnel team, a lot of 2 tight ends and 2 receivers, but they will be fun to watch. They're not going to be a playoff team. Someone's going to come out of nowhere, by the way, in the NFC. It's probably going to be Washington who's going to push for a wild card spot, but it's not going to be the Cardinals.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I'm sick and tired of the Chiefs and Niners. I'm sick and tired of them. So, I'll take anyone besides them again. The same 2 teams every year. I'm sick and tired of it. Honestly, I can't take it anymore. In fact, I talked to a guy yesterday who said that he's just excited to see how much Patrick Queen hates the Ravens. And when the Steelers and Ravens hook up, that's a war.
There you go.
Great stuff as always. Thank you.